Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. I just wanted to finally give you an update on the mixing of my dip for dipping my pine lumber. I've just had the first batch come off the fire, so I'll show you what it is and how I'm doing it. All right, first thing I did, as you can see, I got some cement blocks, some old scrap cement blocks I had salvaged, and I leveled them so the 45-gallon drum that I have on there is going to be nice and level. So I did it 2 blocks high so I could build a fire in underneath of it. As you can see, it's burning there. Now, back a few weeks ago, I purchased a good 45-gallon drum, cut it in half, so that'll do about 27 gallons. I'll tell you the mixture here in a minute. I have the other half over there in case I need it. So what I do, I get my water supply going here. I measured it out using a gallon jug, and this 5-gallon pail is 5 gallons with about 1 inch to the top. So I've take 3 of those, that's 15 gallons of water, bring it over and put it in the actual pail here, or the drum. Now, I don't suggest you getting the fire going before you get water in there, because that's going to be really hard on the drum. So I put the water in and then I started the fire, and when I'm done I'll pull that right off and let the fire burn out. Then what I did is I got my Timbor solution. There's the Timbor product. I got that from Seed World out of Florida for about, I think it was $75 or $80 for a 25-pound pail. It was one of the better prices I found. Then I figured out my mixture, and what I do is I do 15 gallons of water. So for every 5 gallons of water, you want to put 8 pounds of this in. So a gallon ice cream container is about 4 pounds, and so they give you a little measuring cup there. So I did the measurements, and so I did it as about 4 pounds in one of those ice cream containers. So I put 6 of those in there. That's 24 pounds, because these are 25 pounds, so it's not quite a full pail. So give or take, the mixture is nice and strong. They give you a recommendation on the side, 1.5 pounds to a gallon. So at 15 gallons, that's 15, you're running about 22 to 24 pounds, and so it's close to one of those pails, but it's not quite. So I put that in the water while it's heating up, and the last thing I did, and this has created some angst for me, is actually finding non-diluted antifreeze. I tried to get some here by the 55-gallon drum at my local, pull this up here, you can see here, this is actually from AutoZone. It's undiluted, so that's what I'm using. I tried to get the 55-gallon drums. It's a lot cheaper, and they had them here locally, but they wouldn't sell to me because I'm not a business. I am a private citizen, and so welcome to the world of bureaucracy. I couldn't get it. So I could have got that for about $10 a gallon. I ended up spending close to $14, $15 a gallon for this, but it's the price you pay for doing business. So what I did is I put 3 of those gallons in. You put 1 gallon of that undiluted antifreeze to that 5-gallon pail, so that works out to 3 gallons of that. So I've already used 6 gallons of antifreeze, and you heat it up. So what I'm doing is I'm heating it up to around 200 degrees just before boiling. I tried to use I had here, I'll show you. I had an old candy thermometer, but realized it was broken. It wasn't working correctly. At least it didn't seem to be working correctly. And so I'm just guessing it and bringing it up to what I think is a fair temperature just before it starts to bubble. and then when it gets to that point, I used a laundry detergent dipper as a dipper, cut out the top, get out of the smoke here. All I did is grab this here, just took a laundry detergent, cut out the top, and I use this as a dipper, and I dip out my chemical, and I put it in pails and let it cool down. While it's cooling down, I'm just about ready. I'm going to take it over and put it in my dipping tray over here. So that's the procedure. I think I'm going to do 3 batches today. I'm on my second one. As soon as I get all 3 in there, I'm going to start dipping my my lumber. So for now, I'm not uncovering that end. I'm just going to dip it in here. When I get about 3 or 4 inches of chemical in there, I'll start the dipping. But I'll bring you along for the process. And so that's kind of where we are right now. You can see I got a nice fire going. This is where I saved a bunch of the limb wood from my pine trees. So I'm using that, burning those, using those for my fuel source along with some of the other scraps. And so, yeah, that is the procedure. So I will come back when I get some more of this done. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, a little later in the day. I am now mixing my last batch. This is batch number 4. So it's getting to the point where it can come off soon. I think I'm just going to let the fire die out and let that cool there. I've got some pallets to pile on as I dip. Got 2 sets here, long and short. And I have dumped in, let's see, 3 lots, so I've got about about 80 gallons in there. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just doing the math in my head. 20, I guess I got about 60 gallons in there. Now, I stepped back and I actually jacked up on the ends here and tapered it. So this is not setting level. So I've took this up almost 3 inches here and just kind of tapered it down to nothing. And the reason I did that is because I'm not dipping anything 22 feet today or anytime soon. I made it to do that, and I'm just trying to keep as much of the chemical down on this end. So I'm going to, down on this end, I've got about 2.5 inches or 3 inches deep from the little supports there. That's one of the issues that I did notice could create a problem as far as the amount of chemical that you need, is because the volume of this at 22 feet and 15 inches wide, 6 inches deep, is massive in the sense of how many gallons you need, upwards of 100 plus gallons to fill it up to within about an inch of the top, within about an inch here of the top. So that's why I just kind of tilted it up. Now when it comes time, if I get around dipping longer stuff, I'll level it out and just mix more stuff. But at this point, I have used somewhere in the vicinity of, you can see all the empty gallons over there. I used about 12 right now. I think I've used 12 gallons of the antifreeze, the undiluted antifreeze, and I've mixed 4 pails of the Timbor, which is 100 pounds. It's about 4 pounds more than I needed, but give or take, that's what I have. Now obviously I'm hoping that I'll have stuff left over. You can see it there starting to steam. Now I'm hoping that I'll have stuff left over to, obviously not going to take all of that chemical to do those 4 piles there that I have ready to go. I guess I've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'm going to start with the 2x6 and get those done and get them over here stacked. And then what I'm going to do is, as I do them, I'm going to just move them from one stack to the other. Now these are the longer ones, So they're going to be over here closer to my work where I'm going to be building over in that area. But everything else I'll just stack over as I finish them, so I'll use those pallets. So that's kind of the plan. And like I said, I'll come back and give you an update on how fast I can actually dip this stuff, but let's give it a whirl. Okay, it's a little later in the day. I finally got my system up and running. So how I'm doing this, I'll show you. Obviously I'm wearing gloves. Actually I'm wearing latex gloves and then a heavier pair of rubberized gloves because of the wood. So as you can see here, I have come up with a plan, just set some bricks on the wood so they're totally submerged, so I don't have to flip them or anything like that. And so they sit there, they're in there probably about a minute, fully submerged. Then I take them out, set them up here, let them drip dry, and they drip down into the tray. And at the same time I've got my stickers at this end being soaked, and then I'll set them up here and put another batch in. And so the whole thing I can do probably about between 30 and 40 studs an hour. So again, just depending on the size of your project, you can do the math on it. These are my 2x6x9. So I've already done 32 there. They're coming off of there. So I'm basically just reversing how I did them. So those are the undone ones, and those are the 8s. So I'll do those and then put those on top. And so right now works very well. The only thing you have to keep in mind is don't fill it too full, so when these are submerged, because your pieces actually take up square footage area, about these 2x6x9 take up about, I think it's about 8 or 2.5 square feet, and your stuff will raise and you don't want it to to drip out. I'm right there at the cusp, but I will give you a rundown on how much chemical I'm using as I'm working through these pallets. Looks like I'm going to be able to do a couple lifts without adding any chemical in here, but I will keep you updated. So talk to you a little later in the day. I've now taken the fire off out from underneath of my bucket there, and I'm just letting this last mixture cool, so that way you can actually use it, put in buckets and seal it up. But I've got enough here to do me and then some. And then I have some 35 or 30 gallon plastic drums that when I get all done dipping everything this time, I will drain this, dip it out, and put it in the barrels until I need it next time. So yeah, that's kind of the process. I think it's going to work out quite nicely. I will bring you back at the end of the day. I am back. I thought maybe you'd want to watch for a few minutes just kind of the process and see how I'm doing it. I know I explained it, but let's show you in process. See my camera cut out. So that's kind of the process. I did all of the 2x4s. I didn't have a lot of those cut at this point. Finished the 2x6, did the 2x4s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 2x4s. So I'm going to try to get these ones done before I go home. But that is the process. So thanks for joining me. And as always, appreciate it if you like and subscribe, and always appreciate you joining me. Till next time, you have a great day.